Tanjiro!
Yeah, let's go! Yo!
Wait, how did we get here? Let's rewind a little to 2019. It's October and all you hear everywhere is Demon Slayer. Everyone is obsessed with this series. The anime community altogether cannot stop talking about it. And you buy into the hype. On a lazy weekend, you say, let's just watch one episode. So you go to your favorite streaming site and load it up. And your first impression are, oh, dope animation and soundtrack. Then you meet the main character, a boy named Tanjiro, who is hardworking and honest. What a wholesome family, you think to yourself. And boom, tragedy strikes. The main character's entire family is devoured by a demon. And just like that, you are hooked. You can't get enough of this feeling you are experiencing. You don't know why or what this feeling is, but the only thing you know is you can't stop watching. And seemingly an entire 8 hour goes by and you find yourself 19 episodes in, and then you get to that episode and this piano starts playing and this feeling of exhilarating rush comes on to you pouring, and then you experience a moment in anime history.
The music! Activating fire breathing or something like that? Oh my god.
You first begin to cry.
Oh man.
And laugh.
My god.
And scream as you cheer on this young boy in the face of unbeatable opponent who you have been on a journey with, and his kindness, compassion, and pure heart has managed to captivate you when. And then the episode ends. The soundtrack is still playing and you're just sitting there full on crying. Fast forward 2 years later, you decide to become a Demon Slayer content creator and you are obsessed with his series. That may or may not have been my story, but that's not important. What is important is why and what. What did Demon Slayer did well that other animes could not copy? Through my extensive research, and trust me, there's been a couple of rabbit holes I had to dig deep in to get this answer. And the conclusion I had gotten to is because Demon Slayer is simple to understand. Simplicity, something that is easy but hard at the same time. You hear all the time, especially when you play a sport. Your coach says to you, just keep it simple. And that is exactly what Demon Slayer has managed to do. It all would not have been possible without this guy. Katayama Tatsuhiko, an editor who told Kiyohara Kotake, who is, by the way, the author of Demon Slayer, he says, I continued to think over how to make best use of Kotake sensei's style and talent. I came to the conclusion that an easy to understand theme would be best. With that in mind, we chose to work off of his award-winning debut title, Kakari Kari. By the way, notice he said he when talking about Kotake, even though Kotake is actually a woman, but they like to keep, her whole identity a private. I mean, nothing is known when it comes to Kotake outside of for Demon Slayer and early stages of her career. I think it's really sweet. If you listen closely, he said, with that in mind, we chose to work off of his award-winning debut title, Kakari Kari. Kakari Kari is legit the father of Demon Slayer. But if you read it, you're gonna notice the theme is the complete opposite of Demon Slayer. Imagine Giyu was the main character of his own show, and instead of demons, vampires. That is exactly what Kakari Kari is. Also, Lady Tamiyo and Yushiro are in it, which is kinda dope. And I like how intense the final selection is described. And those who complete it are seen to be straight up killers. But we're going off topic. To show you guys how important Katayama, the editor, was to Kotake, you have to understand what an editor does for a mangaka. When you hear an editor of anything, you think to yourself someone who edits stuff after it is shot. And you would be right. But in the manga world, an editor plays a massive role. The legit can say take something off that they didn't like or change something that they do not understand to a mangaka, and the mangaka will. There was a time when Katayama told Kotake that the face of Orokadaki was way too nice, and Kotake came up with the solution, and instead of changing his face, she just covered it up, which is hilarious. By the way, this is what Orokadaki actually looks like, which fits with what Katayama said about the character being way too nice. Orokadaki's mask is without a doubt a major part of his character, and I don't know, at least to me, he would not have been the same or have the same impact if he had this face. But the most important and without a doubt what would be behind all the success Demon Slayer has achieved is when Katayama told Kotake if there wasn't a brighter, more normal character in the worlds he had created. And that is how Tanjiro came to life. Because before Demon Slayer and before they named it Kimetsu no Yaiba, they were originally gonna name it Kisatsu no Yaiba. But because the kanji for Satsu literally translates into meaning kill in Japanese, they decided to go with Kimetsu. And the old main character of Demon Slayer was supposed to be this character that was way more serious, and overall he just did not fit in with the story. There are a lot of animes where if you take out the main character, this story still works. But if you take a look at what makes iconic series is different from those who aren't so iconic, is the fact that the main characters are forgettable. Demon Slayer does not work without Tanjiro. According to a poll they did in Japan, young kids admire Tanjiro more than their parents, which is kind of nuts, especially when you take a look at Japanese culture and study them, where kids look up to their parents massively. Demon Slayer is a really grim and sad anime outside of Tanjiro. The story is wholesome and enjoyable when we travel with, but outside of that, there are tragedies happening all over the Demon Slayer world. Look at every single Hashira, for example, who all have been shaped tremendously by their sad and tragic backstory. Take a look at Shinobu, for example. She lost her parents to a demon right in front of her and her older sister. And don't get me started on the demons, who easily have way more compelling and sadder backstories in the entire series than the human characters do. So in a way, you can say Tanjiro is the glue that holds everything and gels together. So to answer the initial question of why and what is it about Demon Slayer, 3 things. 1, the main character Tanjiro. 2, plot. And 3, ufotable. Demon Slayer is one of the easiest anime to explain to a friend. If they ask you, you can just say it's a show about a wholesome boy who in the first episode his entire family is slaughtered except for his sister. He is on a journey to get her back into a human. That's it. No weird question like why are the Titans naked? Or stupid things like that. Lastly, Studio Ufotable. I mean, do I really have to say anything about Studio Ufotable? It's really easy to say Demon Slayer wouldn't be where it is today without its animation. And those who say that aren't wrong. But how many other animes have insanely crisp animation that flopped? Yes, I'm talking to you, God of high school. Takes like this undermine the hard work that went into every aspect of this series to make it what it is today. Yes, the anime helped the manga in sales and popularity tremendously. But without it there being a original story that is both captivating and easy to understand, it would not have been possible.